Hello again. So I'm just gonna move in to the live section of my YouTube channel apparently. You know, I used to dread it, not dread it, used to worry me, and now here I am, I can't get enough of it. Welcome everyone, I'm really glad you're here again. If you were here yesterday and you're back for more today, God bless you, because I don't know how, I'm getting sick of me. So I'm thinking some of you probably are too. Yeah, Mike said, how do you think he feels? Welcome, welcome. If you were in yesterday's live, it was a long one. It was 3 hours. However, I showed a bunch of cards and I created a bunch of cards. I just showed a lot of inspiration. So if you missed it, go check it out. I can't do a shortened live of that one. That one's just full of inspiration because I had some cards from other people. So that was yesterday's. Today, I do have a lot to share. I say that at the beginning of all of these, but it can't go 3 hours because, yeah, it just can't. It can't go 3 hours. So this one will be a bit shorter. Welcome all. Thank you for being here. I have 3 cards for you today that we can make, and then I have some additional examples to show you. So thank you for being here. If you've been here for a while waiting for this to start, go ahead and hit the refresh your screen so that it'll show you in the description all the products that I'm using and the free gift information, because I know some people will be looking for that. As always, I really recommend right at the top of my YouTube description and pinned at the top of this chat here is a link, and it has the word live in it. If you click that, it'll take you to another page where it shows the free gift information at the top. And if you scroll down, there's pictures, thumbnails of all the different products. And it makes it easier to find things if you want a closer look at anything. So I really recommend, I put a lot of time into putting that together. So I'm hoping that's helpful to you. Today's cards, I'm using Pinkfresh Studio. I really like some of the things in this release and then their last release too, because I didn't do anything last release. I couldn't find the time, so I'm putting them together here. And I found out that they have free gifts right now, so I thought it's a good time to do a live, because then, you know, if you're shopping, you get some free gifts. But please know the 3 cards I'm doing today, you can do with other products for sure. Today's cards are cards that I have elements that make them different than store-bought. You know, I think that's one of the best things about Handmade is we can do things that make cards that are a little different than what you buy in the store. But if you like a traditional opening and closing card, you can probably apply some of these ideas to that. So yeah, I've got 3 cards to make and also some additional samples. I have samples that I made and additional samples that 2 folks from Pinkfresh made that sent to me. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Let me show you the free gifts first so you know what's going on right now before I start making cards. So Pinkfresh has something really cool right now where they are letting you choose which free gift you get. So if you spend $50 and it's while supplies last, you can choose at the checkout if you get this free stamp set or if you get this free frosted glass bottle. Now this bottle, I know a lot of people have this, it's beautiful. This bottle for their rubbing alcohol, so it looks different than their water spray bottles. I use rubbing alcohol to clean my glasswork surface and to clean my stencils. That's the only thing I use rubbing alcohol for, but I use it a lot for those 2 things. So these are the 2 options. So if you fill your cart with $50 or more at checkout, I think you get to choose which of these you want. This has a $12 value. This has a $24 value. I was going to make this, make something with this, but then I remembered I already did in a video. Mike, can you put up the cards that I sent you?
The cards?
Yeah, okay, so this card here I made many months ago, and I have a YouTube video showing how I made it. It's listed in the description below, And that floral image is from this free stamp set. So can you go to the next picture? It's actually Easel card where this long floral image stands up when you prop the Easel card open. So it's meant to fit a slimline card, but that's not a slimline card there. Is there one more picture? Yep, and that's what it looks like in the Easel. So that card, I have the link to that video in my description below, and that stamp set is, the stamp set on that card is the one that you can get free right now. So those are the two things. The information on this is right at the top of my YouTube description, and it's right at the top of that link page where I have all the visual supply list. So either way you can find it. So I wanted to share that Pinkfresh has that right now because especially a $24 stamp set and you spend $50 and you get this free, and they have the coordinating dies and I believe stencils available for purchase. So you could buy those and get this free. Anyway, just wanted to share those options. Does a bottle have a fine mist? How about I check it for you? I have some water here. Hang on. I'm putting water in mine for now because I have alcohol in a different one. So let me excuse my nerd bottle of water. This is from my engineering days. And I keep it in my cabinet because I go through water a lot and the sink is like 20 feet outside my door and that's just way too much. Don't laugh at me. I don't want to clean. I don't want to exercise. So let's see here. Ooh, fine mist. Yeah, that's a good mist. Looks like a perfume bottle. There you go. Yeah, so slimline cards, I know not everybody likes them, but the card example you saw isn't a slimline card, I don't think it was, but you can use, you know, just part of it. And the sentiments are really great too. Pinkfresh is really good about doing unique sentiments, things that are a little bit different. You are amazing, remember that always. A lot of good ones. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that before I get started. So let me show you the 3 cards I've got. My desk is dirty.
You need a code or anything? Or do you just...
No, I think when you go to checkout, it just asks you to choose. But you got to click that link that's in the YouTube description. Yeah, it is a great gift. There's a stamp. Oh, Anne so smart. Anne said it's got a recipe to make your own stamp cleaner. Well, what do you know? That's cool. 2 tablespoons of glycerin, 1 cup distilled water, 1 teaspoon of baby wash, and there you go. Huh. Clever. So you could use it for your stamp cleaner too. Okay, so I have 3 cards. I think I'm going to start with this one first. This one I thought was fun because, oh, okay, Lori said as soon as you hit $50, it asks you which one you want. So there you go. That's cool. I love it that they offer that. Kinnery and the team over at Pinkfresh are super generous. Okay, so this is one of the cards. Should I show you all 3 cards first? Let me know. Here's the first one. I thought this was fun to have your card cut narrow so that part of it hangs off the side, but it'll still fit into an envelope. Marcia said, is the gift also available if purchased from Simon's Stamp? No, the free gifts are if you purchase at Pinkfresh. The advantage of shopping at Simon's Stamp is they have other things too if you need to get them at the same time.
But it's Pinkfresh that's doing the giveaway.
Yeah, the giveaway is if you shop at Pinkfresh. Okay, you want me to show you all 3 cards. Okay, so the first one is this one, and we use the same image for the background, and it's just really fun to make. So that's the first one, and it's different than store-bought because the edge hangs off, and see it still fits in an envelope. Now this one has this flap that opens, and you open it like that. Lots of blue on this one. So that is another one. And then the last one, so this is, this first one fits 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch normal. This one fits an A6 envelope. It's a little bit bigger, but you could make it normal. And this one fits a 5 by 7 envelope. And this one, watch, when you pull it open, there is more of the scene. So it's just 3 different examples for you today. So I have everything ready to share these. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with this one so I can get into the ease of things. You're looking for colored envelopes. I have linked below in my YouTube description where I get my A6 envelopes that are high quality and my 5x7 envelopes that are high quality. It's a place called Cards and Pockets, and they also have the A2. And you can get like one of each, different colors, so you can figure out what you like. But I also like envelopes from Simon Says Stamp, Gina K Designs, Altenew, and then somebody else is coming out with more tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Can you scroll, Mike? All right. I think I will start. I think I'm going to start with this one because it's pretty easy. It'll get us started. It'll get us going here. Okay, now I got to remember I did this a couple days ago. Sometimes that happens and I forget. Okay, so the product I'm using on this, I thought this was beautiful. You know, I've got a lot of floral images. I love florals. I think they can be used for so many occasions, and flowers exist in everybody's world, right? But what I liked about this one is that it's these tiny little flowers, and I thought it would look neat with, it's kind of got the straight line with the stem here right along the edge of a card. And also you could have like make a few clusters and have it kind of framing the card coming in from the sides. So there's a lot that you can do with this image. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do the press plates today. However, Pinkfresh, one of the reasons I like to use their stuff live so often is because they offer different options. So there is a stamp set, there is the coloring stencils, the layering stencils that color in the stamp. There's the die that will cut out the stamp. Then there is a press plate that you could use instead of the stamp, and the die works with it and the stencils work with it. So if you like the better press like I do, you can get the press plates. You can also foil with these. If you prefer stamping, you can get the stamp set. So I'm demonstrating with the better press today, but keep in mind everything that I do with the press plates and the better press today, you could do with the stamp set instead. All right, let's see. Okay, so this, I'm going to use the press plates because I want to show more ways to, you know, how I go about using them because, you know, if people are considering investing in them, it's always good to see them in action a lot. But again, you could use the stamp set instead. And as I'm going, I'll mention where you could use it. First of all, I'm going to use the press plate to do this black outline. If you don't have the press plate, you just do black stamping. All right, so oh, by the way, this is called the Always Smiling collection. I really like this. Lita said, you like the reaction to the new big brushes when I use them this weekend? Absolutely, you're gonna see me use them here. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. You're gonna see me slightly blown away today. You know I get excited about products. I used a product this weekend for the first time when I was teaching, and I was giddy. And the people in the class got a kick out of the fact that I was so excited by them, so I'm using them today. So I'm warning you, if you're gonna place an order to try to get the free gifts, wait until you see what I'm gonna show you in a few minutes. Just wait. Okay, yes, Wendy, it is crazy that I'm going live 2 days in a row. I may go again tomorrow. I'm considering it. And then I am going live on Thursday. I don't know. If you ever want to know when I'm going live, be sure to sign up for my text messages. You can do so with the link Mike's about to put in the chat. That's usually the best thing to do because we send out a text about a half hour before. Why use a press plate over a stamp set? Sue, that's a good question. I will demonstrate. Stamps are great, and I totally get it if people want to stick with stamps. The thing I like about the press plate is there's a few things you can do with it. You can use it with your better press system. You can use it to foil with your glimmer system, or you can use it to make an impression with your die cut machine, just a regular die cut machine. So there are 3 ways you can use it. I also find it's foolproof. Like I've never gotten a bad image with it. Whereas stamping, sometimes, you know, you got to try a few times. So but you could absolutely do stamp here instead. Okay, so this is the Better Press system. I'll put my plate on here. It doesn't matter. I want to make sure it's within that A2 line there, because I want to make sure that when I put my paper in this A2 line, it'll line up. Now, I have on here taped a thin piece of plastic that's from packaging. In fact, you can see the hanger of the packaging, the hanger hole. I just tape that on there so if I get ink on the work surface, I don't have to clean that gray magnetic mat. Instead, it wipes right off this plastic. You don't have to do that, but I do that sometimes, and this is just left over from a bunch of Better Press I did the other day. It's a hack. Anybody who has used the Better Press, if you've used it before, leave it in the comments because and what you think of it, because I want to know. I think everybody will say that it's just so easy to make. Now it does make a little bit of an impression, especially if you use heavier weight cardstock like cotton paper or watercolor paper, but I don't even care about that. I like how crisp it is. So I am using just an Altenew pigment ink. It's just the black ink I use the most. I don't know why. I just think it's dark and really black. But you could use any ink here. You'll see me demonstrate in a moment using some Pinkfresh dye ink. Kind of messy here. I'm always messy when I'm live because I'm trying to hurry. All right, so really the result here is dependent on how good you ink it up. And it's pretty easy to see it, okay? Yeah. Oh, press and seal works well to cover too. That's a good idea. It's funny, you'd think I'd use press and seal more. I don't have any in my crafter. Anyway, so I'm gonna put that through my Spellbinders Platinum. This works with your Spellbinders Platinum. I know it also works with the Gina K Intracut system. And what happens is that paper is taped to this clear plate and it pops on with magnets, and when it goes through, it presses your paper and your press plate together. So look at how crisp that is. Just beautiful. And it has a little bit of an indentation. I just did this on regular cardstock, so it's not much of an indentation, but it is there. So now if I want to clean this, I just do a little spritz of rubbing alcohol. Now I got some ink up here because I didn't clean really well around it. I do think Better Press is a good, when you use a Better Press system, it's a good time to use your ink cubes because then you don't get ink all over. But I'll show you another way to do it in a moment. Oh yeah, my husband invented press and seal. That's why I said that. Okay. Now I will use the coordinating die to cut. No, you know what? I'm going to do the stenciling first. All right, let's do some stenciling. And I can also answer questions while I stencil. For this, I wanted to do like a, I feel like so many times, oh, the paper that I used here is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. It's linked in the description below. I'll use another paper later just to explain the differences. I use Neenah Classic Crest for almost everything. Almost everything. Okay, so let's see. Let me line this up. This is stencil number 1. Easy to line up. Now, you could do like these flowers here pink, these flowers purple, these flowers blue, or do them all the same color. I thought it would be fun to do kind of a rainbowish, like going from the bottom to the top, just to do it different. I think one of the best things about card making is you can do whatever you want. It may not exist in the real world, but that's okay. So I'm going to try to remember what colors I used. Mike, can you scroll it? All right, I think I used soft lilac, I think. And I think I used coral reef. Uh-oh, can you answer that? Lila's calling. And I think I used sparkling rose. And I don't know what the last one was. Maybe I think I used yellow. Let's do marigold. All right, so I'm going to do like this kind of from purple to pink to coral to like a dark yellow. All right. Yes, there is, Betsy, there is no wrong with creativity. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna go a little over the top. Well, no, not yet. I'm not going over the top yet. Not yet. I don't need to yet. The product that I said I was gonna show you that I love, not yet. We're gonna use it in a minute. First, we're gonna do the flowers. So I have my, I'm using Pinkfresh brushes today. You could use whatever brushes you want. I just got some new ones so I could have more on hand. I don't think you need this many, but this is what I do for a living, so I tend to have more for convenience. So I'm doing the soft lilac on the bottom. Then I'm switching to Sparkling Rose, which is just a gorgeous pink. And I want to overlap with what I've just done so that I get a blend from the lilac to the pink. All right. Hi, Shari. I am so praying for all of you down south. I'm praying for you all. Scary stuff. Okay, coral reef. And I'm going to put that up against the pink. I'm going light here. I wanted kind of light colors, but you could go more bold if you want. There is a little bit of a second layer to this with the next stencil. These colors. I always talk about, I don't know, Lori, if anybody from Pinkfresh is here. The owner lives in Dubai, so I don't know what time it is there. Sometimes she comes in, but I'm not sure. If you've got a question, I can get Mike to text her though. This is, this holder is the holder that I use for almost all of my small brushes. It's a lip gloss holder and I have it linked in my description below. All right, so that's stencil number 1. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, goodness, that's pretty. Okay, let's do, mine are all out of order. Stencil number 2. Stencil number 2. This does some more on the flowers. So I'm using the same color palette, but just using slightly darker ink pads. What's that? Okay.
She wanted to know about dinner. Can't we just cook the chicken noodle soup?
Oh, I don't know how. Lila called and asked if we could cook some more chicken noodle soup. My husband made some the other day. I don't know how to, so that's not going to be happening. Isn't that sad? The stencils are numbered. They're numbered in the corner. Sorry, I'll be right back. I got to grab these. The stencils are numbered in the corner. Normally what I like to do is put, when I get a new stencil set, I haven't done it to this one, but when I get a new stencil set, I'll write in Sharpie 1, and then I put a piece of Scotch tape over it, because that's easier to see, right, than the little etching. The reason I put a piece of Scotch tape over it is because when I clean my stencil, I use rubbing alcohol, which would just take the Sharpie off. So that's why I put a piece of Scotch tape over it. If you've watched me teach, I always show that in when I teach live. Like I taught for Pinkfresh this weekend and I showed that there. All right, so I did, down to the bottom, I did Candy Violet, which is one of my favorite purple colors. It's like I don't know, like a candy violet. It's pretty, it's really pretty. A little bit of a pink to it. Then I did bubblegum. Then over the coral reef, I will do passion fruit, which is another beautiful color. I think I might have said this or started to say this. This is part of live. You go all over the place. I like the Pinkfresh inks because they're like candy. They're like jelly bean colors. They're just happy, happy colors. And you'll see that in a lot of my projects today. And then at the top of the marigold, we did apricot. Look at that. So fun. Let's see, that's 5. See, if I would have numbered these, it'd be easier to figure it out. Right, if I would have written that. I'm gonna do this one last. Let's do stencil 4 next. This will be the leaves. Now over this, I think I'll do key lime. Hang on, let me put my inks away. Because if I put this away in my cabinet, then I have enough room to work. So I'm going to do key lime with spruce tips. Now, I think my key lime is dry. Let me check. The way I check to see if my key lime is dry is I just drag it on paper. No, it's not too dry. Not too dry. I was going to re-ink it, but I don't think I need to. So let's do key lime. Can you use the glimmer machine to do the same thing with the Better Press? So here's the thing. With press plates, which is what I use with the Better Press, you can use it on the glimmer machine to foil. So the press plate will work with the Better Press to make that impression, the crisp impression like I just did. Or you can use it with your glimmer machine and get foil. And in fact, I find that press plates foil better than foil plates. If anybody's ever done it, let me know what you think. Also, if you're interested in the Better Press system, Spellbinders, I noticed they have a bundle. It's the Better Press and then a bunch of like press plates and extras at a great price. I have it listed over on my sales page. If you go look on my sales page, you'll see it linked at Spellbinders. So that's just a little tip if you're considering. It's a good value because you get a bunch with the Better Press. So yes, you can foil with the press plates. Can you scroll it? I have done a video. I wonder if, is Brianne here?
Yeah.
Brianne's here. Yay, my link ninja. She'll be able to find it very quickly. I've done a video, and it's using Pinkfresh products about all the different ways to use press plates. There are more ways, but the three basic are with a Better Press system, with your glimmer to foil, and then with your die cut machine to make an impression. So hopefully she's here and she can link to those. So the chicken noodle soup, here's the thing. It's a recipe. He made some the other day and he had extra. It's an Instapot recipe. I don't want to think that hard. I'd rather talk to you guys.
I told Lila that we can do it if Gran's willing to.
Yeah, figure it out. Okay, now I got to figure this one out. Now I got to think. Here we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm lining up the next stencil. Now over this one, I thought it'd be fun to do gold ink. Mike, I don't know is this gold ink back in stock yet? This is Lisa Horton gold metallic ink. It comes in a set of 3 with silver and copper. It's sold out everywhere. I know Simon Says Stamp has some on the way. It's just great. But you could use any gold ink there. I know Honeybee has a good one too. Or you can use a gold gel pen, and it just gives that little bit of gold shine at the center. All right, so there we go. I'm not cleaning, because who wants to clean? All right, that is done. Let me put this stuff away so I have room. I will talk more about brushes later. I think somebody asked about the Gina K brushes. Her little handheld ones. There's a different stand that even works better, which I will share in a video hopefully next week. I don't have the information to give it to you right now, but I will next week.
Okay, here's the plan for dinner.
Uh-oh.
They're getting scum on.
Okay.
Gran is bringing, she has leftover grandma stew
Okay.
that she can bring for us.
Great. Perfect. Okay, we're trying to figure out dinner because my husband isn't here and he cooks. And I'm here, so I can't cook. My brother also cooks. Okay, so I'm using the coordinating die. Nobody likes to clean. Yeah, I am. You know what? I should clean it so I don't make a mess. All right, so this is rubbing alcohol. I just do a quick mist. It dries quickly. All right. So I did clean. Does that count for something? Huh?
Or is that water?
I have water in there. Yeah, Gina's smaller brushes are great too, and I will talk about those next week. It took me a long time to clean up from yesterday. I came down this morning and it was a disaster. There we go. Now, I like to have some added dimension behind that, so I go over to my section of mess up cardstock and I use that to put some dimension behind it. I thought I did this part, but I guess I didn't. So let me cut some extras out. Okay. Are there any questions? Yeah, here's the thing. There are, there are lots of great brushes out there. There really are. And that's why I use different ones in different videos, because I want to demonstrate that there are good options out there. There's absolutely no need to have all of the options. You know, what I would recommend is just look at them and see what might work better for you, like which size you might use. Like if you do a lot of big blending of backgrounds, like ink blended backgrounds, then you might want bigger brushes. If you do a lot of selective coloring on stencils, you might want some smaller ones. But I tend to use small and large, not like the medium. Does that make sense? But really, everybody's different. So I just cut some extras from scraps. I don't think anybody will ever know that these were my mess ups. I also sometimes use packaging for this, but I wanted the back of this to be white because it's going to be hanging off the edge of the card. All right, Mike, are there any questions?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I think I answered this one about the Lisa Horton refills.
I think Lisa Horton said she's coming out with refills, I think. Anything else? Like glue?
Do you have to use a certain brand of ink with the better press?
No, you do not. So here's the thing. Spellbinders has a better press ink that works really well. That is great for using with the better press. I don't use it very often, honestly, because they're little ink pads, which is what's good about it. It's easier to ink that way. However, I don't have a storage unit for little ink pads. So I just use dye ink. Right now I'm going to use some Pinkfresh dye ink. Okay, so there we have our stacked up flower, stacked for dimension. It's also going to hang off the edge of the card, so I want it to be strong. Next, I have a piece of cardstock here. I'm going to do some Pinkfresh ink for the better press. Now remember, I said there's a stamp set. So if you wanted to do the same card with stamps, you just stamp with light purple here instead of doing what I'm doing, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm taking this, let me clean this off a little bit. I just clean it with a baby wipe. Yeah, you can use Ranger archival inks. I use Pinkfresh, I've used Gina, I've used Hero, I've used Altenew. I do really like this Altenew black for the black, but really you can use a lot. Sticky mat, Cynthia, you clean the sticky mat with a stamp cleaner. Okay, I might show that later. So I want to have like a cluster down here in the corner, so I'm going to put it like that, all right? So I'm going to hold it there, flip it over, and then I'm trying to put this white kind of centered up in that black frame. Just kind of eyeballing it here. All right, yep, that'll work. All right, now I'm going to tape this in the center of the same size frame on my clear platform here. Let's put this tape over here. Probably don't need this much tape, but that's what I always do. So when I press it, it's going to be on that corner only. Hey, baby. All right, this is the soft lilac. I don't know how good I cleaned my plate. There might be a little black under there, but that's the joy of trying to hurry. So make sure all that's wiped off. Put this on here. What? Do you have a lot of homework?
Yes.
Oh, this is hanging out the edge. I can't do that. Hang on. Brain fart. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
My mom's here. She gets to see. So I got to rethink that. Give me a moment so I can think, Mom. I want it coming from this side. This is how I did it. There we go. Let me wipe this off. Yes, Spellbinders does make paper specifically for the better press. It's very thick, it's great. And like when the better press is the focus, I'll use that. Like if I'm not going to ink it in or whatever. So I want it there. So let's see, I'll put it like center up that white so it's kind of centered. Tape that back down. Sorry about that. Now, okay. So now I'll ink this up with some soft lilac. Place that on top. And so it's kind of floating above. And then when you push it through, it presses it together. So yes, Spellbinders has cotton paper that gives a beautiful, beautiful impression. So you can see like the impression it makes. Here I'm just going for the image. So there we go. Look at how detailed that is. Now I still had some black on there. That's my fault because I didn't clean it quickly, but look how detailed. And you can see it's an impression too. What?
I have to interview you today.
Oh, goody. Now I want it up here too. So I'm going to leave this here, ink it up, and last time I had it like this, so it's in this corner. Now I'm going to rotate it so it's in this corner. All right. Hey, Mike, can you scroll it, please? Yeah, my mom just brought Lila home. We're trying to figure everything out. That's the way it goes. All right. And now we have the image on the opposite corners. Isn't that pretty? Now again, I didn't clean it very well up in that top part, so some of the black showed up. But I'm going to ink blend over it. No one will ever know. All right. And by the way, this is magnetic, so it holds that plate there. Oh yes, watercolor paper works really well with the better press because you know how it's thick? So it takes a good impression. So you could get the cotton paper from Spellbinders. That's meant for the better press. It comes in like white, cream, and like a light gray. Or you can use watercolor paper, but I use anything. I'll use colored cardstock or whatever. It's just you won't get as much of an impression if you don't use that heavier, like cotton kind of paper. Okay, now for the fun part, the part that I'm so excited about. Mike left me. Oh, rubbing alcohol, whatever you buy at the store. Any isopropyl, any like 70 to 90 is fine. Okay, so this is what I'm really excited about. I used these blending brushes from Pinkfresh for the first time this weekend, and I'm blown away. You know I like my blending brushes, and I usually like blending brushes that are kind of flat. Well, the nice thing about these is that it's flat, but then they aren't tight. It's not like tight together. And I find that they are incredible for blending without getting those harsh lines. So I'll use soft lilac here. It's the same color I just did the pressing with. And you'll see that it just goes on so soft and beautiful. So if you like to do blended backgrounds, especially if you like a soft blend, holy moly, these are great. I'll show you. Even if you go, like, let me see. If you go in like straight down, you don't get that, like the harsh line. Does that make sense? Mike, I need help. I can't see the comments because it's scrolled down and he's upstairs. Sorry to yell in your ear. So this gives really effortless, soft blending, and I am just crazy about them. So I have them in the same container here. After teaching this weekend, I went and I bought more than I'd like to admit. So this will be filled soon, but this is what I have for now. And look at that. You get that soft blend. Now this is going to go right here, which covers some of that black. And that will hang off the edge of the card. So hang on, let me see if I can scroll the comments. I had to do this. Let me see. Hang on. I can't figure it out. I don't know what I would do if I had to run this show by myself. Sorry about that. Yeah, these brushes are fantastic. I'm very excited about them because I like the flat bristles, but that they're not tight, so you get a really nice blend. Sorry, I'm a little flustered. With them coming home, I knew it was going to happen, but this was the best time to go live today, so here I am doing it. And hopefully Mike will come back down soon. Okay, so this I want to have hanging off the edge. So this panel, I'm going to glue on the front of a folded note card. So I keep a lot of folded note cards like this on hand. These are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I can just glue this right onto the edge up against the crease. Yeah, these lipstick holders are really well. I tried a bunch. I will never admit to you how many I bought. I bought a bunch because I wanted to make sure that I got the one that, like, some of them, the holes are much bigger and you don't need them much bigger, and so it takes more room. This one was a really good option for extra, it can hold more and take up less space. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a nice one, but trust me, I bought so many. Thankfully, Lila likes lip glosses, so I gave her all the ones I didn't want. It's just a makeup container, a makeup thing. Don't leave me, Mike.
Why?
Because I couldn't see the comments. I need you.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so now I have this little mini note card. He's leaving. Lila's feeling great. She's feeling much better. So mini note card. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back half, well, more than half. This edge I'm not, because it's going to hang off the edge. So I'm putting part of this and then kind of along this side here, like that. You want to use something strong, right? This is Gina K Connect liquid adhesive in a fine tip bottle. Now I'm going to put that right along the edge, but then this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to lay this on here. I want to make sure it doesn't hang out over that, so it'll still fit in an envelope, in a regular envelope. So I'm going to move this until I'm happy with it. Still will fit into the envelope, so I'll move this out of the way. Then I will put heavy on it. This is a magnet. I work on a glass mat that is magnetic, and this is a magnet that's super strong and it'll hold it in place. Yeah, I don't use side fold very often, but for this one I thought it looked cool. Some people prefer side fold. I like top folding because they stand up so nice on display without falling over as much. Okay, home stretch here. If I can find my sentiment. Okay, last thing I did, and to save time, I'm going to skip part of it because I've already done it. Now notice this is darker than this. Pinkfresh inks are one of those great inks that are designed to kind of soften and smooth out, so it will soften to look like this. So I have a sentiment here. I'll show you what that's from here in a moment. Put some adhesive on the back of this. I have it kind of go right across there, and I'll put my magnet over it. Whoop. My magnet over it. And then I did add some of the Pinkfresh glitter drops. So glitter drops from Pinkfresh are, here, I'll just hold it up. They are clear gems filled with glitter, and there's different colors. I used the blush color because it matched everything, and I just scattered them along the background. Now let me show you what the sentiment set is from. Because this is another one. I don't know if this is new or if it came out last month, but I'm really liking it. You'll see me use it a few more times. So this is the Here For You sentiments. So it has, you are always loved, cheering you on, love that. You are so kind. Thank you, best wishes, you are the best. Celebrate, just saying hello, and here for you. So this is another one of those things where there's the press plates and there's the stamp set. So you could use either, and there are coordinating dies, and the dies will cut out the stamps, or they'll cut out the press plate images. Okay, so what I did for mine is I white heat embossed on black cardstock. So I used the stamp set. I think I use this later. Maybe not, I don't know. But I really like the unique look of these. So this is the Here For You sentiments. These are some that I think will get stuck on that magnet board, the dies and the press plates. I have magnetic sheets taped inside of my cabinet doors, and that's where I stick the things I use a lot. This magnet that I use, there's two different ones. I use them to pick up my dies and stuff too. These are from Glassboard Studio, and they work with any magnetic glass mat, but I get my mat and my magnets from Glassboard Studio. Mat and the magnets come in different colors. And I have a link for 20% off in my description below. Okay, so that is that. That's the first card. And I have an envelope here. This, I think, is a Gina K envelope. and you can see how it fits nicely. So let me get this out of the way so that I don't lose everything. And I do have one more card sample. And Mike, I'm going to need your help finding links to the artists because I forgot to add those. Okay, so let me show you this up close. So see how, can you tell that that's pressed in, like that's engraved? It looks like it's engraved, which is what's different than a stamp, right? And you have that soft background, and then you have the detail and the inking that we did, and then, oh, on this one I have the gemstones. So I was able to use the same press plate for this and then the background. And I like how that looks kind of coming in the corners. Here I had them coming these corners, here I had them coming in these corners. Either way, okay? The magnetic sheets that I put in my cabinet door, Mike, you can try to find them in my Amazon cart. They're lighter weight ones. I don't put the heavy ones because I'm afraid they'll fall. I'll have to show you sometime. Now, before we move on, now this card was created by Leah Lawson. Leah Lawson works for Pinkfresh Studio, and she is so, so good. Very, very talented. And I asked if she and Heather could send some samples for me to show you guys today in this live. And I'm really glad she did. This uses the same Always Smiling, but she did things a little different. If you look closely, Mike, can you link to Leah Lawson Instagram in the comments or in the chat? Maybe Brianne could too. See who finds it first. She used the press plate to foil. Okay, you can use the press plate to foil with the glimmer. And so she has gold foil outline here, and she used the stencils to color in with soft inks. That's probably coral reef because she likes it so much, maybe passion fruit. Okay, then remember when you foil, you have your leftover piece, and you can use that with the solid hot foil plate. She did that and put that underneath. So this is the reverse foil, and it's just kind of offset so you can see both. Isn't that cool? Now, if you've never done foiling with a press plate and then using the negative space with the solid plate, I did that in a video. My most recent regular video, I show how to do that. But Leah made this one. Then she did soft blending around this frame. You'll see this frame later, and added a foiled sentiment that she made with a press plate. Isn't that gorgeous? And then she's got, I think these are their new dewdrop kind of things they have. I don't have them yet, but I think they're pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Yes, so this is made by Leah Lawson. You can see her name there. I like this. It says handmade by Leah Lawson. This took forever to make. Leah's very talented. You can see a lot of her work on the Pinkfresh YouTube channel. So big thanks to them. I want to get Leah on here sometime as a guest because she's really good. Okay, so that is another card, very different look than the one I made. Isn't that fun? All right, so that's the first one. Card number 1. Let's do card number 2. I'll let you guys vote which one you want first. This one takes longer, but I had planned to do this one last, but let me know what you want, the green or the blue. Let's see. Are there any questions, Mike, while they vote for green or blue? I answered one of them. Yes, you can, if you do not have a better press, can you use a press plate with an embossing mat? Yes, that's the third way you can use it. And if you search on press plates or better press, actually if you search on better press on my YouTube channel, many videos will come up and it'll show you how to use your press plates with glimmer foil machine or with an embossing mat with a regular die cut machine, which I might show you later. I don't know if I'll have time. I've shown it many times in videos, many. All right, Mike, can you go back to the list? What did they vote for, green or blue?
Pretty split, but I'm gonna say green.
Green, oh dear, okay.
It is pretty split.
It's pretty split.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or blue. Well, now I showed you the end is almost all.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the blue because it's easier. And I'm still frazzled. Okay. All right. Oh, Shari just sent me a recipe for a chicken noodle soup. I've got the recipe and I've got the stuff. I don't have the time or energy to make it. How's that? Okay, so this is fun. It's just a fun opening, and it uses a basic shape here. You could use a rectangle or a banner die. I'm using an oval here just to show you. You can make these fun kind of flaps. And I'm going to show you how to make it so this flap doesn't like stick out right away. It kind of lays nicely on it. So let's start with this one. First, let's do the background. We're going to do this background here. This is the Charming Stitched Florals plate. If you've ever watched my videos, you know I'm a fan of Pinkfresh plates because they don't cut the outside edge. So this just is a piercing look on your cardstock, and you can do it directly on the front of your note card if you want to, okay? But I'm going to do it on a panel today. I think it's just a beautiful look. So this is the Charming Stitched Florals, and I plan to use this one a lot. And by the way, I think this one's Heather's. This is Heather Hoffman. She was on my YouTube channel as a guest several months ago. Heather also works for Pinkfresh. I think she sent me this one, and you can see she used that in the background too. It's just some fun detail. All right, so I'll go back to this card a little bit later, but I have some blue cardstock here. I just use this as you would any die, but it won't cut, it just does that piercing. All right, so this is Altenew cardstock. It just happened to match. Altenew has cardstock now. This is the Caribbean Sky color. I just thought it was beautiful, and it matched the inks that I'm using here. Really into these blues right now. So I'm running that through my die cut machine. You can use any die cut machine, but I'm using my Empress right now because it's right here. So there we have it. I'm going to trim off a little bit off the edge. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, Teresa said her daughter is sick at university. That is hard when they're away from home. One of my girls had surgery this week, and she lives in Oregon, and it's so hard to be that far away. It was a minor surgery, but still.
Is it her mouth?
Yeah. So you can see that beautiful pattern. Isn't that gorgeous? Now I'm going to make that stand out more by inking the edge with the magical brush. By the way, these are the 1-inch brushes from Pinkfresh. I have it right at the top of my list because I think they're going to sell out. Okay, so this is Seaside ink. I'm going to dab some off because I don't want it to be too dark, and I'm not sure if this is too dark. I don't think it is, so I don't even need to dab off. And I'm just going to go around the edges. I think I might have used a different color on here. I'm not sure. But see how you don't get those harsh lines even if you don't knock the ink off first. You can get beautiful blending. You want to come over and say hi, Mom? She's a mouthful of food. What are you eating?
One of these things.
Live like Gran. You got to eat all the time. She's eating naan. Piece of naan. All
I
right.
was looking for some wine, but I can't find any.
Press plates, yes, it can be used. Gran said she was looking for wine but couldn't find any. I don't have any. Isn't that unfortunate? Press plates can be used with ink on the Better Press system. It can also be used with ink to make a deeper impression with an embossing mat in your die cut machine. Many ways you can use it. Look at that. Look at that. Like no harsh lines, fast. There's something magic. They need to call these magic. Sika said hi, Gran. Sika's here. When you're done eating, you can come say hi to everybody. Don't you want to do it?
See me?
Yes, they'll see you.
Oh, yeah, look in there first.
She said, oh, gee, I'll have to look in a mirror first. Yeah, my mom is a tiny little thing, and she eats like you wouldn't believe. But what my mom has are two things. One is unbelievable willpower. So when she comes home, she eats very healthy. And she also is a busy bee. She will go on the treadmill forever. She'll work in the garden. She is just a busy bee. My card's a little bit too big, but I'll fix that in a moment. So she does not sit still. All right, the center flower has cut petals. Yes, the center flower does cut petals. I shouldn't have glued it down. These cut the petals partially so you can fluff them up and put like a foam dot underneath there. Can you use this with your Better Press? No, it's a different thickness, but what you could do is take this, rub ink along the raised area, put it onto cardstock on top of your embossing mat, and when you make an impression, it'll push that ink into the crevices. I did that in a video recently, but I'm not sure which one. All right, I'm putting something heavy on that while that dries. All right, now let's do the flap.
Somebody said busy bee, apple/tree.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
Apple doesn't fall apart from the tree.
That's for sure.
Okay, so let me show you here. This is the nested elongated ovals. You know I love modern looking ovals like this. And what's neat is they also have the press plates that line up with it. So you can use the press plate to get like a solid, bold line around the inside of your die cut. And you can also foil with these or make an impression with your embossing mat and die cut machine. And so these line up together. Then they also have this, I think this is from their last release. This is the dainty floral frame, and these ovals line up with it. So you can use all these interchangeably. I think that lines up. Let me make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, it looks like it does. And these, here's some that, let's see. This one is from Heather Hoffman. Her website is House Built of Cards. And this,
Looks like it.
oh yeah, it did. It got squashed in the mail. Look at all the little shaker bits. She used 2 ovals and then the press plate between and made a fun oval there. Shaker window. Then this one is Leah's. Look at this. She used all the press plates and did rainbow. So these have like an indentation to them. Isn't that gorgeous? And then around the outside, she used this press plate, the dainty floral frame, to foil. So all of these work together in different ways. And here's a simple one. This one is by Heather. She used this as a press plate with turquoise ink and then used a press plate oval in a different color at the center. And that's the sentiment set I showed you earlier. This one's by Heather. So thank you to them for sending these. I love this rainbow. Isn't that fun? So this floral frame here is a press plate. So it presses that pattern into your card. Wine and non. Gran is living her best life.
Well, there is no wine. I'm going to have to have a beer.
No, we don't. She's going to have a beer, she said, because I don't have any wine.
You invite her over and there's no.
I know. All right. Do you want to come say hi?
Oh, sure.
Okay, Gran's going to say hi. And then I got to get back to work. Oh, she matches too.
What?
Me. In my card here.
Oh, I like your tongue. Can I borrow that?
This is Gran. This is Gran. Sika's here. You know Sika. I think
Hi.
Betsy's here too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is Gran. This is the person we all need to live like.
Yep.
The only problem is she doesn't make cards.
No.
I've tried.
And my big problem is people ask me what Jennifer does, and I go,
She didn't really
I'm
know.
not really sure. Something about making cards.
She's a YouTuber.
Yeah. I don't think she's ever seen one of my videos. Have you ever seen one of my videos? You haven't?
No.
No.
I'm
there you
too
go.
busy.
She's too busy doing things. Isn't that crazy?
A lot of people say that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's grand. That's when I hired a coach, like a fitness kind of whatever coach. They said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to be like Gran." So it doesn't come as naturally to me as it does to her. All right, I'm going to do this messy, I'm sure. So I'm doing this, inking this up off on my glass mat. This would be easier to do if you had ink cubes or you took your time. I'm not taking my time here. I'm just doing this as fast as possible. So I'm being somewhat messy here. What are the questions? Oh, and I'm not even on the overhead. Yeah, I do look like her. Mike looks even more like her. Okay, so I'm inking this up. Not the best inking, but this is pretty forgiving. Lay that on there. So you can either ink it while it's on here or off and bring it to. This I obviously made a mess, but again, I'm trying to hurry. Okay, so now I have cardstock. I put tape on that so it's taped in position. Put this on top. I inked up with Seaside ink again. So this shows you can use dye ink for this. Yeah, sorry, I didn't switch cameras. A card designer engineer. Nice. That works too. Okay. And here we have, look at that. Look at that blue. Look how crisp that is. One pass. One pass. Isn't that amazing? So now, let me remove this. Put it over there. Put my better press aside. So you can see how fast it is to use. I mean, it's about the same time it takes to do a stamped image. Yeah, Gran is a fun one. Okay, so I line up the die that works with it. So this is, again, the something nested elongated ovals. So you've got the nested elongated oval press plates and the dies. And you can use them together separately. So I just thought it'd be fun to have this like blue line around that. Isn't that cool? All right. And here we go. So there's our oval. All right. Now the oval, we're gonna wrap around our card. Let me first cut the extra off of this. I'm gonna use my spellbinders. I cut my blue panel smaller than my background, so I am using my spellbinders scissors. If you've never used these, they are incredible. Just to cut off that extra white. I could use my trimmer. All right. So yeah, the ink that I used there was Pinkfresh dye ink, and you saw it gave beautiful results. Something about how the Better Press works, it really presses the ink into the paper and gives you really crisp results. Mike, can you add the gems I used? They're Pinkfresh glitter drops in the blush color. Okay, so here you can kind of see that these do curl up. Somebody asked this. See how it kind of curls up? I'm going to glue mine down because I don't want it curled up, but you could have it curl up. Okay, so now I want to make it so this oval wraps around to be this flap. So what I'm doing is putting some score lines in my oval. Now, I want it to wrap around, but not like stick out. Like I want it to wrap around nicely. So what I like to do is take a bone folder and do 2 score lines right next to each other. So I'll do one here at, let's do it at 3.5. So I'm going to score it 3.5. Then I'm just moving one groove line over. So it's 3 5/8, but just one groove line over. So you have 2 score lines very close together. And I'm using oval here, but you could do circle, you could do square, you could do rectangle, whatever shape you prefer. So let me first reinforce one of those score lines.
Did you use on that?
On what, this one?
Yeah.
I'll show you in a moment. I gotta find it. It should be in the list. I thought it was.
Yeah, I just can't.
So here you got, see how, because I did 2 score lines right next to each other, see how it has some room to it? Now it'll flatten fine to go in the mail, but it makes it wrap around your folded card better. Does that make sense? So it's not like awkwardly fitting around it. It just fits on there really nicely. I need you to scroll, Mike. So I put adhesive on this little flap here and just glue it to the back of the card like that. And then put something heavy on that. That stamp set, where is it? It's right here. The stamp set for the sentiment is the Happy Vibes. I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so now we have that. I will go back. I'll probably forget. See how it just wraps around that nicely? I will go back and cut. I didn't do it on here yet, but I'm going to cut another piece of white cardstock. I'll go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna eyeball it though. I'm going to cut another piece of white cardstock to glue to the back to kind of sandwich in that flap. And so it looks nice on the back. I let mine shift. Hang on. I have to re-glue mine. I let it shift when I was playing around. Hang on. All right. So that those 2 little score lines next to each other makes this wrap around better. So it'll just kind of fit on the edge of the card. Highly recommend doing that. It really makes it kind of wrap around better. but I'm kind of fussing with it here. Yeah, that works. Good enough. Then I will put another piece of white cardstock on the back. Now this one, the card right now is about 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to put this in a bigger envelope because I want some of my elements hanging off, but it's up to you. Totally up to you. Okay, so there's my card base. It opens like this. All right. And that 2 score line over there makes this wrap around so much better. You can see how it just like settles nicely there. You don't like need a magnet or anything. Okay, so let me set that aside for a moment. We got to make our flowers. These are fun. These are fun. All right, what did I use for this? Okay, got to go find it. Hang on one second. For the creating all of those flowers and leaves, I'll show you the card. I will be using the Garden Party. So this came out, I think it was last release. There are stencils and there are dies, or a die. What happens is you stencil them all, and then the die lines up to cut out the flowers with no white trim, and it gives you like the details on the flowers. This is really cool. So it does the flowers and the leaves. So I will demonstrate that. Let me get a piece of cardstock. Hang on. So for this, I think I'm going to use Nina. This is Nina. You could use Hammermill. I link below also to Hammermill. Hammermill is super smooth. So if you want to do foiling or ink blending, I would recommend Hammermill. But I'm just used to blending on this, so I'm using Nina. It's nice and thick. It's good quality. I know it'll take the ink well. I just really like it. All right, so putting down first stencil 1, and I'm just lining it. It does have tick marks. You can see there are tick marks that you can line up with a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece, but I'm just gonna line them each up in the corner. I think that's fine. All right, so let's do some blues. I'm going for bold blue. Let's use Seaside because it's out. I'm gonna use my magic brush. These are, somebody asked what these are called. They are the 1-inch brushes from Pinkfresh. See how fast it was to add that? 1-inch brushes from Pinkfresh right at the top of my YouTube description because I like them so much. And if you follow my Instagram stories, you'll see that I placed an order for a lot of these right after I taught for Pinkfresh this weekend and used them for the first time. I just think they're gorgeous. Gorgeous to blend with. All right. Yeah, I do like the blue. And here's an even better blue. Stargazer and Sapphire. Actually, I'm going to do Sapphire. It won't show up as much because it's not that much darker than the color we used. Hang on, here's Sapphire. Sapphire. This is a great, here I'll show you. Great bright blue. Love it. So I'm using a smaller brush now, and I'm going to just do circles in the middle. And remember, Pinkfresh inks soften and smooth out as they dry, so you don't need to spend a lot of time doing this. You'll also notice that this stencil made 4 triangles. You see those 4 triangles around the flowers? Those are to help line up the other stencils and to help line up the die when we get to that point. I'm going to just put down a lot of this. I think this is one I need to re-ink because I use it a lot. So I put just the darker color at the center. I will say normally when I do this with Pinkfresh inks, I like to do a lighter first and then a much darker in the middle because they soften and blend so much. There's not much contrast here, but I'm going with it. All right, let me clean this off. And I do go back, by the way, and I take these little tape pieces off and I use them again. I just don't in the live because it takes longer, but I do go back and use them again. Okay, next let's do, okay, so where's my other stencil? I'm missing a stencil, Mike. Oh no. Is it 3? No, it's 3. Okay, no, I'm not missing a stencil. That's right. The cool thing about this is there's actually 3 stencils that come in the set. It's the one I just did, this one, and this one. But this stencil, number 2, is actually 2 pieces, so I cut it in half. You could leave it together and just shift it between, but I just cut it in half myself because it just makes it easier. So let's start with the top half. It says stencil 2 up there, so I'll line that up with the top corner of my cardstock, but I'm also noticing I'm lining up the triangle holes with the inking I've already done. I think these are brilliant. This is one of those, like, the company puts in a lot of effort and thought into this so that it's, you know, easier for us to figure out. I'm gonna do, let me switch to Summer Shower. Okay. My mother is videotaping me. You know, you don't need to videotape me because this is recording. All right, so I'm putting Summer Shower on here. And notice I used the same brush for each of these blues. I just wiped some of the darker ink off before I moved to the lighter color. Okay. And this one, let's do just a little bit of darker color towards the center. I'll use the Seaside just for these bigger ones. So it just kind of goes in a swirl in the middle. Does not have to be perfect. I think I'll leave the others as is. Okay, so that is stencil number 2. And remember, it's like stencil number 2 and 3 came hooked together and I just cut them apart. I just find it easier to visualize it that way. Now this is the bottom half of that stencil, but this is what you use for stencil 3. And what you need to do is line up this triangle with that. Okay, and it fills in these little sections here in the middle, and it tells you how to do this. I'm just showing you and quickly here, but it'll line up along the side, and that triangle lines up, and it's going to put these 3 little flower centers into this open spot there. So basically, they're trying to save you some money by not requiring a 4th stencil. So they put 2 together, and they're trying to get as many inked die cuts as possible from this product. So I'm using Marigold on that one. All right, so there's that. And then time for the last stencil. This one I'll just line up at the top corner. You'll see the triangles line up again. And this one is all the leaves. So I can do this pretty quickly in greens. Again, this is the Garden Party. And wait until you see what it looks like cut out. I think I'm going to use, I'm going to do something different than I did last on my other one. This is Key Lime, which I mentioned is one of my favorite greens. Ink up with that, and I'm just going to go over all of this. Now, one of the nice things is when you use a big brush like this over a stencil, you see how it gets like darker on the edges? Kind of defines it a bit. That will smooth out some, but I like that kind of definition. So that's why you want to make sure you go in both directions, because if I'm going in just one direction, see how only dark ink comes on this side of the leaf? I want it on the other side. So I'll do the other direction too, so that you get on both sides. And there's also a little leaf up here. Sometimes I forget about him. Okay, so I did Key Lime over all that. I'm going to come in with a darker color here just for some contrast. Can you scroll? All right, and this is Emerald City. And I'm putting this kind of at the base of these leaves. You'll notice I'm not putting a lot of time into it. I feel like there are times where it's worth it to spend a lot of time blending. Like say it's your background. You want to have a nice, like, beautiful sunset background. That would be a good time to spend time blending. But this, when you arrange it, doesn't have to be excellent. So I'm just putting extra dark ink here. This is the Emerald City. Which way does this cut? I don't remember. I think it's this way. And I'm just putting it towards the base of the leaves. All right, good enough. Good enough. Okay, let me take this off. Now, this is the fun part. You take the die, and there's one in here. Hang on, let me pop it out. Okay, You take the die and you line up the triangle openings with the triangles on here. So see, there's a triangle there, 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 and there. So you just look right through that triangle hole. It doesn't cut those, but there's openings in the die so you can line it up perfectly. Then I'll put tape on it because I don't want it to move. I'll run this through. All right, and while that runs through, I'll clean this. Mom, does she have homework she needs to do?
She has a bunch of homework, she said.
Okay, she needs to get started on that.
And
then.
everything but math.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Okay, can you get her to get started? Where did I put these? Oh, I put them over here. All right, I'm trying to clean up as I go because then I don't get as lost. All right, so this will not leave white around the edges. You know what, I'm gonna run it through again. No, I'm not. I'm afraid. I think I just messed it up. Ooh! Come on, no, it cut through. It's good enough. It cut through enough. Oh, it did cut through, okay. I don't have my shim under there. Usually with detailed things like this, I like to have a shim under there. Okay, sorry. So now look at how it cuts these out with no white trim. Pop all these out. Boop, boop, boop. So the triangles were used to just make sure they line up okay. And now I have all of these to make a fun arrangement. So you can see that the stencil openings were kind of big and funny looking. Like when you inked over it, they were kind of wider than they needed to be so that there's a little forgiveness. So you don't have to line it up just right. All right, now these are ones that probably did not cut well. It'll come out. Wonderful. So now we have all of our little flowers. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I know that there are other ones like this from Pinkfresh. I know they have one coming out soon too. I just think that's fantastic. So I will start layering these onto our cards. Again, this is the garden party. And I also did some off screen in case I wanted more to fill in. So let's start doing these. I also created a sentiment off screen. This is the Happy Vibes. I've used this a lot in videos, a lot. I used the Hope You're Smiling Today. There's coordinating dies for all of these. You can tell this is a very loved set. I stamped Hope You're Smiling Today with black ink, and I put some extra die cuts behind it so it has, so it's strong. So I can just put one foam tape behind there. I just put one so that I have room to tuck florals behind it. I'm gonna have this so it's kind of hanging off there to the side. And now I can build my flowers around it. Now on this one, I did some dimension, like at the center of this one, see how that's built up? I'm gonna save time by not putting that dimension in now, but you could if you wanted to. So I'm gonna set this here. So that's the Happy Vibes for the sentiment. And I start putting these together. Now this one, if I ever put foam tape behind a die cut, I always make sure that I put an extra die cut behind it so it's strong, so it doesn't get crushed. So that's why I stacked one of those together and I'll put a foam tape. So the only things with foam tape on here are this big flower and the sentiment. Everything else will get tucked behind. So now we've got this one. And that goes there. So now I'm just assembling things. I might need to skip a lot of this assembly because I want to get that other card made, the green card. But I can show you what I did here. So I just build it up. Now on the back of the packaging, they give you suggestions on how they can be layered together, but you could layer it in different ways or don't do the layering if you don't want to. Just do, like this one could be layered at the center of one of these, or it could be off on its own. So I just put these together and use the little centers. So I have those two pieces down first, and then I tucked these other 4 flowers underneath it. So they're all kind of anchored around that big one, okay? Then I tucked some of my little leaves to peek out. I'm gonna skip assembling that because I want to get to the next one and it's just assembly, and you've got the final card here to see. But I did also add something to the inside. So I have another sentiment here. I think I cut it. This one just says, just because you're my friend. And I'll take one of the extra flowers that I have and glue that in there too. So this will be hidden when the card is closed. And then when you open it up, you have this additional sentiment in here. All right, so I can add additional pieces onto that to layer it up like this one and add some leaves. So that is how I did this blue card. So this flap here, I think is just a fun design. It's different than what you buy in a store, and you could make it any kind of shape. It doesn't have to be an oval. I just really liked this oval better press with the oval die cut. Hang on, let me show you it again. So I started with those glued down, and everything else I just tucked around. So this was like the anchor flower, and then I put 4 around it. I did 5 flowers because I like 5, I like odd numbers, and I made sure one was tiny. And they're all kind of hooked together, all tucked behind the big one. And then all my leaves are tucked behind. Now notice here, some of my leaves are lighter. What I did is I just used the background die without inking anything. I just cut this from vellum, and I made a bunch of little vellum leaves. Okay, so you can use these and tuck little vellum leaves in there. But you notice my vellum's green. The way I did that, if I can find it, the way I did that is I just used an alcohol marker. So I just color right on top of the vellum. You can use, it appears lighter on vellum than it would on cardstock. Then you just heat set that real quick, and then you can tuck that in, and then you have green leaves that are vellum, so they're really soft, okay? So I did tuck just a few, 1, 2, 3 vellum leaves. Oh, there's one up there, 4 too. So if you want more leaves to fill it out, but you don't want it to be a ton of green, you could go softer with the vellum. All right, and then when you open it up, you have the additional sentiment, and then you can write your personal message on the inside. All right, and remember those 2 score lines really help with wrapping. So anytime you want something to wrap around a card, try that. So it just comes together better. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions on this? I know I'm not finishing the assembly, but it's just gluing it, and you could just look at this the completed card to know how it goes together. I want to finish that last card and also make sure my daughter gets her homework done. Sorry, this is the life of a mom. Mike, is there a plug for that fan? Because it is 10 million degrees down here. Sorry. Any other questions on that one? Yeah, the vellum does add a softness. So if I added more colored cardstock die cuts, I think it would be really green heavy. And the green with the vellum with a little bit of green just adds some filling, but soft. It's kind of like baby's breath, you know, it adds a filling, but not too overpowering. Are other companies working on dies with no white space? The reason why stamp images have dies with white space around it is there's a few reasons. It makes it easier to line up. There's also like margin of error when manufacturing. There's different reasons why they do the white trim. It's also, if you stamp an image and use a die that goes right up to the edge, it is really hard to line up. It really is hard. So there are many reasons. There are some companies that have done this kind of thing. I know that Pinkfresh has done several of these where you ink with stencils and then use a die to cut them out. So, you know, but the fact that stamps have a white trim, it's with good reason for us and for the manufacturing. Okay? So there's this card. In a few days, I will put this card up on my blog, so you'll be able to see the photo. The name of the flower, die, and stencils is the Garden Party. And remember, they have examples to show you how to arrange. And then this is the Happy Vibes. And I forget what that background one is called. It's right here. The background is Charming Stitched Florals. Kay, what are you looking for? Somebody said Kay's looking for something. Okay, let me know what you're looking for. We can find it. By the way, another thing I recommend, if you're over looking at Pinkfresh, looking at if you can get these free gifts that I mentioned, if you click on a product, there are tons of amazing examples on the Pinkfresh website. So I recommend going and looking at their examples too. So many. So you can see different ways to arrange these flowers. I know a lot of Pinkfresh designers do softer colors, so you can see this, but like these flowers with a softer palette. What was Kay looking for?
I put bundles for Simon on the list,
Yeah.
but didn't have links for bundles for Pinkfresh.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if Pinkfresh will have
I
bundles.
have no idea.
Let me look.
I have no idea. All right, this bad boy. This one takes a bit of time. Oof. Is she doing her homework? Okay, good.
Pinkfresh doesn't.
She said in a minute. What did she say to you, Mike?
Pinkfresh doesn't have, it doesn't look like they have theirs in bundles, but you can buy the different products. Does that make sense? Some sites don't bundle because most people will pick and choose things, you know? All right, Pink. Yeah, go to the visual supply list. That's very helpful. Okay. This card. So this is a fun, like, I forget what we call these, picture changing card. Now I made it so this just slides out. You can make it so it stops, but I'm thinking the recipient will pull it out and then just keep this out, not put it back in. But you can put a stopper so it doesn't come completely out. I just think it'll look better on display if this is out, so I make it so it can come out completely. Yeah, there are so many great stamp companies. You are right. Yes, with your purchase, if you add $50 to your cart, it says that pops in and it asks you which freebie you want. So it's very simple.
Yeah, Marie said that did work.
So it does work. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, this is a big boy. Let's start with the mountains in the background. I'll set this here. So the mountains in the background are made with stencils. And I'm going to do the fastest inking possible with these. Okay, so this is the mountains. And this is what it creates here. And then there is another product that's sold separately, the trees, that you can put together. And that's what I put on the front. So everything in the inside is the mountain stencil. Everything on the front is the tree stuff. So what you see up here is the tree stuff, which I'll show you in a moment. Right now I'm working on the background, which is the mountains. And you could ink these, like I saw Pinkfresh has some examples where these are like, the mountains are like a light pink. They don't have to be greens. You know, they don't have to be. But I'm going to do greens today because Pinkfresh has a lot of different green colors. Okay. All right, so let's go with stencil number 1. These are numbered and there are little like notches to line up at the corners of your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock. I'm using Nina because that's what I grabbed, but if you want a smooth option, the hammer mill I linked to below is a smooth option too. It's just not as heavyweight. They're both 110 pound, but the Nina is heavier. Okay, let's do this little rivery water thing first. I'm using Summer Shower. Look how fast this is. And look how that just is gorgeous color. I think I just went out of the line there because I'm trying to hurry. All right, so there's Summer Shower.
On the blue card, how did you attach the oval flip part of the card?
I showed that. You'll have to rewind to see how I attached the oval. I showed it. I used glue, wrapped it around the back of the card. So if you rewind, you'll see it. This final card here, because I used a large frame, this is like 5 by almost 7 inches. But you could use a smaller frame and make it a smaller card. So this one's bigger. All right, now wipe that off. Oh, I need to do my clouds. Oops. So I'm going to take, I have these are Altenew alignment guides. They're meant for the stamp wheel, but I use them to mask off different areas when I ink. It's just something fast to hold there. Doing the seaside in these 2 little clouds up here. And then, put these aside. This brush is the magic brush that I keep saying I love so much. This brush is from Pinkfresh Studio. I think it's called the 1-inch brush. It's right at the top of my supply list. They're fantastic. I used them for the first time in a class this weekend, and I was blown away, and I immediately after class went and ordered a bunch of them. Too bad the free gift wasn't available then, because I bought a ton of them. I just think they're wonderful. All right, so I'm just picking random greens for my mountains. First one I'm doing here is Meadow. So you can see how fast you can apply this ink. Let me put this here with the brush. You could make each of these little hills or mountains a different shade of green. I'm just using the same green over the same stencil. All right, so there's stencil number 1. Sound effects help. All right, stencil, Brianne linked to the, put a link in the chat to the brushes. I got my stencils all out of order. Stencil number 2. You can see how it lines up. And you can also use the tick marks to line up. So this is the other side of the mountain. So I'm going to come in, after Meadow, I'm coming in with Emerald City. This will just be darker. You could have done it the other way. It doesn't really matter. And I like when it's not all even, like it's darker in some areas and lighter than others. Yeah, my family, nobody in my family watches my videos because here's the thing. To be honest with you, what I do is my job and it's a passion of mine, and it has a tendency to take over everything. So by like keeping it as separate as possible, does that make sense? It's better. So I just don't show, I don't know. I just don't show them this stuff. Okay, so this one, I'm going to come in with a darker color. I'm coming in, so mint is the lightest color, then there's Meadow, then there's Emerald City, and this is the Evergreen. So this will be even darker. Put the Evergreen up here. This is a great Christmas, although I really like that Emerald City as a Christmas green. So I'll put that there. Good enough. Now, for the bottom there, I'm going to take this other stencil and just put it up here so I keep it separate. And this time I will use key lime. Oh no, I'm going to use Grassy Knoll. Yeah, Kelly, you get it. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you. You know, when you work from home and love what you do and have a supportive family, it can take over. And this week and last week, it has taken over. There are times when I do more than other times. But I have a bunch of friends coming into town this weekend. So I'm trying to get a lot done before they come. And, you know, it's just the way it goes. So I did some key lime, or some Grassy Knoll.
But your family was very involved at the beginning.
Yes.
You used to do the kidding and the
So
traveling. And all
at the beginning, when I started to do this for a job, my family was incredibly helpful. Like I used to travel teaching and they would help me do my kitting. They would help me do so much stuff. And I just kind of, things have changed and I've tried to, get a rein on things. But then when Mike started working with me, it made it easier. He used to be an engineer too. Okay, stencil number 4. Look how this is coming together. All right, stencil number 4. So this fits right in there. You can see how it kind of fits in there. This time, what should I do? I'm going to do different than I did on my sample. Yeah, why not? I'm going to use Sage and Spruce Tips. If you are a fan of green inks and looking for good green inks, Pinkfresh has, I think, 4 or 5 green ink color families, and it's a light, medium, dark, and extra dark, and a color family. You can buy them separately, but I'm using a few of them today. I just love their greens. I also like their corals and their blues, the waterfall color. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I went to my parents, when I was an engineer, and I went to my parents and said, I want to quit and work as a crafter full-time, I thought they were going to say I was crazy, but they supported me. I only made it 5 years as an engineer, and I was done. Okay, so we got our son.
Hey, Gina's here.
Gina's here? Mm-hmm. No. Is Gina? Gina!
Apparently she didn't get the text.
Gina! Gina's here. Gina. I think Gina's going live with Simon tonight, right? Gina, tell us when that is. I love Gina. Nobody does lives like Gina. Hands down. Hands down. All right, so this is Spruce Tips. Ooh, that's a good Christmas green too. Last one. Here we go. Gina, let us know when your live is with Simon. I think it's, I don't know what time. I just saw it today. So let us know. I think here I'm going to do, let's do more meadow. Hi. Yes, Gina's the best. Gina has a release next week, and I'll be using it, and it's wonderful. And then Gina and I are going to have our next tag team video together soon. So I'm not going to say the date. I think I know the date, but I'm not going to say it because I need to confirm with her. Okay, so you're live with Simon tonight at 7 p.m. Central. So, oh, I forgot my birdies. So tonight on Gina's channel, Simon Hurley, who is so much fun, and Gina, 7 p.m. Central. I didn't line this up, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so here we have, look at this background. Isn't that fun? And I did it super quick. I could have done it better, but you know. Now, if you can't make her live tonight, remember you can always go back and watch her lives. Her lives are much more manageable to watch than mine. She keeps them to like an hour and a half. I'm not that nice. So there we go. I will say on my background, I did take like a green marker and put little dots at the top just for a little look of texture, but I'm going to skip that right now. All right, so there's that. Now let's do our card base. See if I can remember how to do this, because I didn't cut these pieces ahead of time. So this is 5 by, I think it's 6 1/4. Yep. All right. Yeah, the tag team that we're doing this time is going to be, I believe we're doing fun folds. So if you've never watched my tag team with Gina, she does, we do like a, it happened by accident. We were doing a live together once and we like just kept bouncing ideas back and forth. And so we decided to make it a tag team thing where we each share like 3 or 4 ideas and we just go back and forth. All right. But tonight she's with Simon. They live close to each other. So I'm guessing he's coming to her place. That's my guess. Okay, so what I'm doing here is creating a note card that is 5 by 6 1/4. And I also created a white panel of the same size. I chose that big size to work with the frame that I'm about to use. So let me grab my frames. Pinkfresh has a lot of different frame die sets that are great. So they're good for this. This is the new dotted fancy frames. So that's what I'm using. And you can see there are all these different ones in there. So the bigger one, there's 3 pairs. The bigger one cuts an outside edge and does faux piercing or little pierced dots on the inside edge. But then you can use this to cut in the inside to have a frame, to cut a thin frame. And then there's the smaller. Now this card is by Leah. She sent me this one to share. Isn't this beautiful? Uses a few other new products, but also you can see she made these gold glitter frames using these dies. And then that centerpiece using the middle-sized dies. Isn't that beautiful? Gosh, she's so talented. Gorgeous. So this is by Leah Lawson. Mike, can you scroll for me? All right, so I'm going to set my note card aside. I will cut this the largest inside die from the front of my 4 1/4, or I'm sorry, my 5 by 6 1/4 inch piece. The reason I made it bigger was so there's room on the side. I wanted to use the biggest frame so I could have more of my mountains showing. So if I wanted to do this on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, I'd want to use this smaller frame to create the window, so there'd be room around it. But I wanted it to use the bigger frame so more of my mountains would show through it. So that's why I chose this bigger size. So this cardstock here that I'm cutting is 5 by 6 1/4. Is she doing homework?
Grandpa.
Okay. Yes, Leah and Heather. Leah Lawson and Heather Hoffman are both work for Pinkfresh Studio, and they are incredibly talented. Somebody asked how I clean my sticky mat. My sticky mat that I use to hold things in place, it is made of a stamp material. It's made of the same material as your clear stamps. So I use the same cleaner. I use Ultra Clean, which is a stamp cleaner, or you can use like a gentle baby wipe or gentle soap and water. Never use rubbing alcohol. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. All right, let me get another piece of cardstock here. So there's my frame for the front. I'm going to take, this is just another piece of white cardstock. I have the outside frame, the slightly bigger frame with the dots. I'm going to place that down, and the die I just used. You know what, I'm going to cut this from a different color cardstock. Hold on, I'm going to do gold. So I'm taking the two larger frames and putting them together. So I'm going to get a thin frame that I can put around my window. So you could do this on Leah's card here. She did gold glitter. I'm using gold matte, but either works. And if you go and look, at the new release from Pinkfresh, there are a few different frame dies that you could use for the part I'm doing here. All right, so by using those two dies together, I get this thin frame. So I really like these. I'm gonna, if I remember, I'll show you another card I made with them. All right, let me find my glue. Uh-oh, what happened in here? Mike, this is jammed. Can you come figure this out? There's something jammed in here. Hang on. Something's jammed in my drawer and it won't open. I can't get it open. What'd I do? There's something in there.
Yeah.
You know what? Normally what I would do, my drawer is, something like, I close the drawer and something is sticking up high and I can't pull it back out. So normally I would put glue, a thin line of liquid adhesive, my Gina K, which I was using earlier, but I can't get to it. Ah, Mike got it, Mike got it. Oh, it's a knife. It's a craft knife. It goes in here, right there. Sorry. This is what happens, folks. So I have my Gina K glue here. So I have a little container in my drawer, and there's one container that sits lower that I can put my craft knife in because it's taller. I put it in the wrong place, and so it got stuck closed. Did you injure yourself, Mike?
No.
Because I have workers' comp, if you did. Because I legally have to get workers' comp when you hire somebody. All right, so this just fits right around it. So it gives this nice little frame. Not necessary, but I think that's pretty. Mike, are there questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, give me some questions. Put something heavy on that.
Did you recommend the Nina or the hammer mill for the better press?
For the better press, for the best results, use cotton paper, which is the better press paper that Spellbinder sells, or watercolor paper, because those are like cushy papers, and that will give you a deep impression. However, I will use any cardstock in there. The thinner your cardstock, the less impression it'll give. What I used today, I used Nina, but I've used Hammermill. So it's totally up to you. Okay, why did I get this out? I need acetate. All right, now let's make our little window. Let's see, I need to just cut this acetate to be smaller. So I've got this acetate. This could be recycled material, anything. I'm going to cut it to be a little bit smaller than my note card. So it's at 4 3/4 by 6. So use recycled material here. This I had in my stash. So I'll flip this over and put adhesive around this. All right. And I'll place this on it. So now this is a window. Okay, can you scroll it? Next, we'll need some foam tape. It's actually pretty easy from here. And so you could have used any window here. You could use those ovals, right? You could use any frame die. I like this particular dotted frame set because I could create this finished look around it. All right, next, flip this over and I'm going to put foam tape around the outside edges. This is so we can create a slider. Sorry, my head's in the way. This is Altenew foam tape. It's one of my favorites because the release paper comes off wonderfully and it cuts without getting gunky on your scissors. Gunky is a word. It is. It's a word. All right. Okay, Pam says she finds watercolor paper works best in the Better Press. It scrolled by. The reason watercolor paper works great in the Better Press is it's, you know, if you've used watercolor paper, it's thicker. So it gets a nice deep impression when you press into it. Now I put foam tape only on the 3 sides, not the top, okay? So now I have this, our mountain piece. See, you can tell I'm a slow crafter because when I try to move fast, I make a mess. All right, so I'm gonna glue this right at the center of my note card, and then I'm gonna come in and make sure that shows through good. I'm actually gonna shift it. Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna shift it. I think that's good. That's good. So I've got that glued down in there. So this is on my note card. Yeah, I know the number of times I have to say, please scroll to the comments. I don't know what happens. I think it's where the mouse lands. If it lands in a certain place, I have this overlapping here, then it stops showing them, which is annoying. So I'm sorry I always have to say it. Sometimes I like wave to the side to let them know. Sometimes I just gotta say it. Okay, so this has got acetate here, foam tape on 3 sides. Got my scene here on the front of a note card. Now this is the same size as my note card, so I'm putting it in the corner of my scoreboard so I can place this in the corner and I know it'll line up. There we go. Okay, so there is the card base. Reminds you of Kauai. I want to go to Kauai. That sounds nice. All right, now I need some white cardstock. I could have measured this before I put it together, but I didn't. I need to cut a piece that will fit between, see that little gap there? It's about 4 inches, maybe a little less. I could have measured that before I put the top on, but I didn't. So let's see, yep, that fits right in. So this is a little less than 4 inches, and it just basically slides in and out between those foam strips that are on the sides. All right, so there you go. Now for what I'm making, I'll do 2, because I want that to be nice and strong. You'll see why in a moment, but you could do 1 if you prefer. Okay, so I have these 2 panels. Now I will put this in to that little slot there. And I am placing, I got it all the way to the bottom of my foam. So it's all the way in there. And then I'm gonna lay this down and cut off most of it. so that just a little bit will be sticking out the top. So now you got them. And I cut both at once. All right, so now I know it will just stick out a little bit from the top. And remember, this is not 7 inches tall, so it'll still fit into a 5x7 envelope when something's sticking out the top. If you doubled up your Nina, would you get a better, deeper impression with the Better Press? You know, you might, but here's the thing. It wants softer paper, you know, like cotton paper. If you get the Better Press, I think that bundle that I mentioned is on my sales page. I think you get the cotton, their Better Press paper with it. That gives the best results. Get 1 pack to try it so you can really see the difference. So if I'm making a background where it's just Better Press, and that's like the star of the show, I'll use that cardstock or watercolor paper instead. Okay? All right. Now, let me do my slider thing next. Actually, I'm not gonna show you the slider thing next. So I've got this piece that will go in here, right? But I still have to add this little hook on the top, which we'll do in a moment. Next, I'm gonna do these trees, okay? And then we're almost done. I told Mike we wouldn't go past 2 hours, and look at me.
Almost past 2 hours.
I know, almost past 2 hours. This is what happened. So this is the trees, stencils, and dies. Maybe I don't need to show this because it works just like the flowers that I did. It won't take long. I love you, Mike. I bought you beer for your birthday, Mike. Okay, so I have, Gran's gonna drink it tonight too. Mike or Gran already drank one. Okay, so this is stencil 1. This is just like the flowers in that you ink it with the stencils and then use the die and it cuts it out without the white trim. So honestly, I would normally spend time to get different colors on all my trees so they all have a different shade to them. But I want to get this done quickly, so I'm going to do the same for all of them. Mike, can you add to the supply list the Altenew foam tape? Somebody was asking about that. I'll use evergreen here. So I'm going to use evergreen on these tree parts. So this is stencil number 1 of the trees. And this is a stencil set and a die set. Now, the stencil set you really wouldn't use on your own, but you could use the dies on their own because you could cut them from colored cardstock and use them that way. But I like this inking process. Then for, it's their foam tape. It should be my supply list in Link Deli. Altenew foam tape. All right, so I did passion fruit for my little flower, evergreen for those trees, and now I'll put this right here to mask that off, and I will do grassy knoll. Yeah, Mike's birthday was last week, and his favorite beer is called High Life. It's my favorite too. And ironically, it's the only beer you can get in Disney World that's good. And believe it or not, they have it there. Yes, Mike is a trooper. I spoil him, don't worry. I think I do. I don't know, maybe I don't. I do. All right, so this is the second stencil, and this will do, lines up to do the rest of these trees and then do additional ones. Now, normally I would do different colors on the different ones, but I'm gonna keep it simple here. So over all of this, I'm just gonna do key lime. So these trees, you could do like pink trees and make like, you don't have to do it with the mountains. You could do like a little pink Christmas tree line. You could do whatever you want. And see how fast I'm able to ink with this big brush, and there's none of those like harsh blending lines. It's just, they're so cool. I'll do some blended backgrounds with them in the future. I just don't have enough time to do that today. I thought with only 3 cards I'd get it done faster. All right, so there we go. Then the last stencil. So there's only 3 here, but it'll cut a bunch of pieces. Oops, didn't line that up. Which of you is the older one? Mike is 7 years older than me, and I will remind him of that every day. He's 7 years older than me, and my husband is the same age as him.
And you and Mike have always been best friends.
Yeah, Mike and I have always been good friends. When I graduated from college and I started working as an engineer, we bought a house together. He was an engineer, I was an engineer, we bought a house together. And I remember the first time I did stamping, I was in the family room of that house when Aaron Leventhal from Hero Arts called me and said, hey, I know you scrapbook, but would you like to do, I have ink everywhere, would you like to do stamping? And I said, I guess so. And I remember exactly where I was sitting. Mike still lives in that house, but we bought that house together. And I worked in the basement. It was a dark basement. I don't think there were windows. No windows. I was in the corner on a folding table, and it was so dark and depressing. All my stamps would fit into a little iris cart, and I remember thinking, why would anybody buy stamps? There's not much you can do with them. Yeah, so we've always been very close. I remember when I turned 16, he's had a job, so he had the money to do it. He took me to Disney World. We went to Vegas when I was 21. I mean, he's always taken me on fun trips.
Went to Hawaii.
Went to Hawaii together. Anyway, lots of places. So we've always been close. And then he and Ken are buddies too. They like collecting specialty beers, and my husband brews it too. Okay, so this die has those little triangles. And so that triangle and that triangle line up with the inking. And we'll run this through our die cut machine. Oh, Carol, thank you for the super chat. I'll go buy my mom some wine. She's complaining I don't have any. The cutting plate. Somebody's asking about the cutting plate with the Empress. There are two ways you can cut. You can cut this way where you're cutting into the magnetic plate, or you can cut this way where you cut into the plastic cutting plate, or whatever this is, the clear cutting plate. You can do either. I usually cut into the magnetic. I just find that this didn't cut all the way, because I find that just gives me good results. Well, usually, I don't know why it's not. I'm having a hard time today. You know what, I'm thinking this might be, I think I grabbed a handful of Brutus Monroe Not Your Mama's cardstock, which is super heavyweight. I don't think this is Nina. It feels heavier. Anyway. All right, so there's some grass. There we go. It's coming out. I was wrong. So now you have all these cut without, oh, I forgot to do my tree trunks. That's okay. All these cut out without spending the time to do each one. I'm going to color my tree trunks brown. Cheating. There we go. Aren't these cute? Back got cut off. Super chat is a thing. Somebody asked what a super chat is, Marshall. It is a thing they do, and YouTube does, where you can kind of give like a tip to somebody on a channel. It's just a sign of appreciation. It's appreciated, but not necessary. It's very sweet. Okay. So now I'll start to put some of this on here, but I'm not going to put it this right now. Not put it all on right now. Let's use some Gina K adhesive. And I'm tucking this, I could have done this before, but I didn't really know where I wanted everything. So I'm just tucking it in here between the front frame and that acetate. I could trim it down or do something like that, but it's not necessary. So this is what I'm doing now, is getting glued to the front of the acetate. I glued that too close, but I can get in there. So now we have, see, we're building up the little hills here. Is there another one? This is, oh, I cut one in half, but I'm just going to use this one. Yeah, let's leave that whole. And these just get tucked in here. So I'm just using tape runner to do this. You could use liquid adhesive, but it just takes longer to dry. All right, so I have these little hills. So when I put this in here, you'll just see the hills. So I'm going to leave that off right now. Now, normally I would put more adhesive than I'm doing, but I'm just trying to do this pretty quickly. Normally what I would do here is put a little tape runner and some liquid adhesive on this, so I can be sure the tape runner will adhere to the acetate right away, but the liquid glue will hold better in the long run. So that's why I would do the two, but I'm just trying to save a little time here. And then we'll put this little guy. We'll have him behind this one. Isn't this fun? So you could do a bunch of these trees and along a card and have something completely different. Then I'm just going to put on this one, I'm going to do the one little thing of grass. I've got this little guy here. Again, I'm just doing this quickly so you can see. And then we have our flower. And these you could use as 3 separate flowers, but what I did is I'm layering them all together. That one, oop, it fell. There we go. Isn't that cute? I love these little flowers. I will put something heavy on that to dry. Look at that. Isn't that fun? So now when you open up, look at the background. You've got a whole scene. So here's the other one. I use different colors. So it just depends on what you like. You're sorry you didn't get this die. Hey, place it. Hey, here's the thing. You could place 2 orders at Pinkfresh and get 2 free gifts, I think. I don't know. You'll have to check. I'm not sure if that's allowed or not. But I mean, you'd have to pay shipping. But Mike, can you look and tell me what you get how you get free shipping at Pinkfresh? $100. So you get free shipping, U.S. shipping with $100. All right. Next, for this little hook up here, see this little handle? You could do a little tab, or you could just write pole here on that. There's different things you can do, but I just thought this was kind of different and fun. What I used is the die set from this collection. This is the framed art. So it creates these little, they look like framed art pieces that you put on the center of your card. And there are different images in the stamp set that fit nicely in the center, along with some sentiments. And then you see all these different little framed art pictures. Then there are some stencils that color these in, or you can do like these abstract art kind of backgrounds. Okay, so there is the framed art stencils, the framed art stamps, and then the dies. So I used the die that creates the topper for one of the framed art. See that die right there? It creates the hanging portion of this framed art. I just cut that from, this is actually champagne cardstock, and I have that sticking out the top. Now, I'm not going to show all the layers just because we're short on time, but I'll tell you what I did. It's not hard to do. And while I cut that, I wanted to show you this card. This is one that I did as a make and take in a Pinkfresh class. Pinkfresh has weekend class events that are phenomenal. I know some of you were in it this weekend. There was one this past weekend. The next one is in February, I believe. I love teaching with Pinkfresh because it's very organized. Heather and Leah put those together and they're wonderful. And this was one of my cards that was part of that event. So it stands up. You might recognize the shape here. That's the dotted frame that I used for this window. So it's a shaped card. And then this thing here that I have popping up, I used the framed art, and then I used the mountain scene at the center. So just to show you how that works. Oh, this is bent over. There's the little hook. All right. So just to show you another one. So here's my little hook. Now, what I did on here is I die cut 2 more to make it very thick because that's the handle. And I stacked 2 more behind it. I'm not going to do that right now just to save some time. But remember how I cut, where's the other one? Is this it? Okay. I cut 2 of these panels, put glue along the top of one and lay that right into the glue, sticking out the top, okay? Then I'll put glue all the way around. So I doubled this white slider piece up for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to sandwich this little pull tab in between, and 2, I wanted this to be strong. So now there's this pull tab. I just did 1 thick, but on this one here, I did 2. So it's stronger, right? And then I just put a little die cut heart on it. So it's just that little tab, but you don't have to do that. You could do a little semicircle sticking out, anything like that. Okay, Betsy, what are you confused about? What's Betsy confused about? I don't want to confuse people. Okay, so now this just slides in here, and there you see that scene, the scene changer. All right, so you just pull by that little tab. Then the last thing I did was the sentiment, and that was using the stamp set I showed you earlier. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I can find it now. I don't see it. What's the name of that stamp set, Mike? With these sentiments. Oh, no, that's not Happy Vibes. That is, it's probably over here. It is. This is the Here For You sentiments. Remember, we've got the dies, the stamp set. Oh, what is, Vicki, what are you confused about? And then the press plates. I did the press plate with black ink on white cardstock for the sentiment, and I just glued it on the front of that window. So it's there when you pull this open or closed. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Oh.
This was Pinkfresh event. I didn't do cotton cream.
Right. Yeah, Pinkfresh event was this last weekend. All right, so all I did to all you would do here is add that sentiment and a little heart on the top. But that gives you the idea. All right? Isn't that fun? So just a scene changer. So you can do that with different products too. Different shape windows, whatever you want. But I really like that ornate. And you can see here, see how it's got the dotted detail on that frame? Love that frame set. I'll be using it more. And I thought I'd show this. This is also from a previous Pinkfresh event I did, and Pinkfresh told me I could show it here. I can't show you how I made it because I taught it in that class, but I can show you it because these products are available. I don't think the stamp is available, but the rest is. So it's the same base here. I used a different hanger from this art set. I used that one, the framed art set. And I have that sticking out. That's the hanger. Now this one, watch this. When you open it, the flowers are revealed. Same concept. I just used this set. This is the Print Shop Modern Botanicals. This is new from Pinkfresh. There's the press plates. There's the stamp. There's the stencils and the die cut. So I used the die cut, the negative space of it, inked up here on the front. And then when you open it, you have all the flowers on the inside. It's the same concept, the slider kind of thing. And this, again, is that dotted frame. This time I did it in just white on there. And then I used the smallest dotted frame in the center. Isn't that fun? So this is new too. I love these because it's one of those where you stamp all the flowers, stencil all the flowers, and then cut them all out. And it just saves you a lot of time. So there you go. So it's the same concept. I think there was, let me see if there were any more things to show you. I think that might be it. What? Yes, we have a giveaway. What was the giveaway today? I don't remember. Okay. So just to show you, this is the blanket stitched octagons. This would also work for a window in there. This one is another frame set that's new from them, the fancy rectangle frame. That would work there. So a lot of different frames would work. But you could also use just a basic shape for that. But I think the frame around it really finishes it off nicely. You pull it one more time. Yep. So it just changes to the scene. I love those mountains. And look at Pinkfresh's website, because there are a lot of great examples using these mountains and trees. So you can see some other color palettes. It's really, really, really good examples. And here I just did brighter colors. I haven't added my sentiment yet, but there, you get the idea. You can just change the colors. All right. So I'm going to do a giveaway. Leave a comment. Mike's going to pick a winner here in a moment. Let's do a giveaway of this one, because I have this one. So Pinkfresh events are great. If you've taken them, you know that they're wonderful. I've showed you a couple of samples from that I taught. It used to be that they would have products and then later sell them. Like this used to be in a class, but now they sell them. In the future, all of the products in their events will be exclusive. So that's going to change. I just wanted to mention that. But I'm going to give this away right now because I have it already from the class sample I made. This is the Print Shop Modern Botanicals. Stamp, stencil, better press, and die. So Mike's going to pick a winner. So leave a comment. And remember, if you're shopping at Pinkfresh, it's at Pinkfresh only. You can choose between this stamp set for free or this fancy frosted glass water bottle for free. When you put $50 in your cart, it pops up something to let you choose what you get. And the link and information for that is below. And it's while supplies last. So the winner of this collection is
Rebecca Edney, E-D-N-I-E.
Rebecca Edney. Rebecca, you're the lucky winner.
E-D-N-I-E.
E-D-N-I-E. Go to my website and send an email by pressing Contact Us and give us your address, and we'll get this sent to you along with a card.
Where does she live?
I don't know. We don't know. I don't know. I ship anywhere. So if you're overseas, that's fine too.
Put it in email.
So again, thank you to Pinkfresh for this great offer. What a nice giveaway. This is $24 value. You can get it free for spending $50. That's a great deal. And I do have a video using this linked below. All right. I went 15 minutes past what I said I'd do.
Time and a half. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay, I think that's it. I may go live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Or I may have a video. I'm not sure.
Here's a question somebody asked.
Oh.
Curious. Have you ever done Versamark ink and embossing powder with a better press?
Yes, you can. Vanessa asked, or no, somebody asked if you can ink up a better press plate with Versamark ink, then do the better press system, so it's pressing Versamark ink, and then add embossing powder. Yep, you definitely can. You can also use a metallic ink, like a gold metallic ink, and do the better press. So yeah, you can do all of that. And the better press you can use in your intercut. Yep. I just haven't been demonstrating with the intercut because it's not available, and people get a little frustrated when I use something and they can't get it. So once it's back in stock, I'll start using it again. All right. Thank you. 2 hours and 15 minutes, better than the 3 hours I did yesterday. Mm-hmm. If I go live tomorrow at 11, I will send out a text. I'll put something in my Instagram stories also. That, if it's either a video or a live, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm trying to decide which is better for it. That one will have to be shorter because I have to go to Pilates at 1. So
you could say what it's about, right?
Oh, it'd be the
It's kind of obvious.
It's the the Greg Concord and Ninth and Christina Werner's next collection. So that's what I'll be using.
The 9th of the month.
The 9th of the month. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much. Can't find my topper. Thank you so much for watching, spending all this time with me. I know I go long, but I'm hoping you learned a thing or two. And remember, you can always go back. Oh, it's back in stock. Good to know. You can always go back and watch this again if you want to see how something came together, because I know I move fast, so I can share a lot. But thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'm going to go hang out with Gran. Although she's over here cleaning in my craft room. I'm probably gonna sit on the sofa. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all for being here. And I'll see you again soon.